of the World Superbike Championship 2006. And this unlucky man, Chris Walker, PSG1 course Kawasaki, went out after 7 laps with a failed fuel pump. So fuel pump failure for Walker. He's managing a wry smile, but I can tell you he's not actually a happy man. He really was deeply disappointed because he's always tended, James Whittam, to be a pretty consistent point scorer and be good at bringing bikes home, whatever.
Yes, he has, yeah, he's always been good at that. I mean, fuel pump, that sounds fairly electrical to me. They're obviously powered by electric, and it just takes a shorted wire or a broken wire, or, you know, and that's...
Side, the lights will turn red. When they go out, everything will be ready for another 18 laps of mayhem. And this time a much better start for Bayliss, but also again Andrew Pitt veers across in front of his senior Australian compatriot and leads once again. And I think Haga again has squeezed through from the second lap. Well, they've got some sort of rocket propulsion to get these starts. Tosland.
No, he doesn't.
Haga goes, tries to go. Ooh. Haga tries to go through. Tosland, a much better start, is there in third place. He's edged out Troy Bayliss on the Xerox Ducati. So at the front, the Yamaha Italia boys once again in a rerun of race 1. But the difference is Tosland isn't outside the top 10 this time. And the Alstara Corona Suzuki's, particularly Kageyama, fairly moderate, way down, moderate start for him. In fact, Troy Corser is 5th.
And I think Mugridge 6th.
And that could be better for Carl Mugridge. Incidentally, I told you earlier, is on his number 2 bike. There's something not quite right about the one that he crashed on his Super Pole lap, so he's had to ditch that and hope that things go a bit better for him, because he faded fairly drastically back to 12th place behind Norick Abe even in race 1. So we got Pitt, Haga, Tosland at the front, Bayliss 4th, Corser 5th, Mugridge, oh, and here comes Norrie.
Kageyama down in 12th, Jack.
Kageyama's in 12th, behind Chris Walker, who's also made a poor start. He's actually the second green machine. He's behind Fonzi Nieto. And Lorenzo Lanzi, another moderate start from the lad who pretty much destroyed his number 1 bike in race 1. He too will be out on Xerox Ducati number 2. So he'll have a little Lorenzo 2 on his headstock.
Yes, possibly.
Perhaps. Regis Laconi's in 15th place, so all the 3 PSG1 Kawasaki's in the points at the moment. That's Carl Mugridge on the Winston Tenkate, well, number 2 bike really. He's lying 6th, Tosland 3rd. And Tosland is leading a string of world champions, in fact, because right behind him is Troy Bayliss, then the reigning champion Troy Corser, and then the 2004 World Supersports champ Mugridge. At the front, Norrie Haga.
Yeah, then Yamahas can start.
Well, I think what Norrie proved was Yamahas can keep going as well. Oh, and that was a late braking swerve there. It looked to me as if
Tosland ran wide.
Oh, he's held on. No, he has. Oh, but that was a heck of a recovery, because he was way out. Corser has sneaked past Troy Bayliss, so perhaps he's fired up by the fact that he never even got on the rostrum, because that in itself is a very, very rare thing indeed in Troy Corser's recent racing history.
It did get duffed up a little bit by Tosland, didn't it? Dropped him back a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
He'll be keen for that not to happen again.
And this is the way that they all started. And again, you can see from the bright Brazilian colours of Barros that he went backwards rapidly. Even Fabian Fore got the better of him on the way into turn 1.
I didn't quite see it. I think just Kageyama just made a bad start, simple as that. He didn't seem to get caught up with anybody.
At the moment, Norrie Haga looks as if, well, he's certainly, you can't say that there's anything diminishes this man's appetite for competition after what happened to him on the final lap of the first race. He just seems to want to make space for himself and get away at the front. So yeah, Norrie Haga leads.
He does take a bit of putting off.
So Nitro Norrie in the lead. That's Troy Bayliss. He left Valencia with the best test. He left every winter test with the best time.
He did, yeah.
But when it came to the racing, well, this race incidentally means that Troy Corser becomes the man who's raced the second greatest number of World Superbike races, second only to the great Frankie Killy, and now just edging past the equally fine Aaron Slight.
Is it me, or does James Tosland's new helmet design look a little bit sort of Freddie Spencer-ish? Remember Freddie Spencer's helmet?
I do, yeah, but I hadn't looked that closely at Tosland's.
Have a quick peek. I'm going to get a good look here.
Haga, Pitt, Tosland, Corser, Bayliss, Mugridge. And Lorenzo Lanzi, once again, remember, he set the fastest lap as he came through and threatened in race 1. And that's Frankie Killy in 8th place. Robbie Rolfo right behind him, number 44. Stalker has come through to 10th rather, ahead of Fonzie Nieto, number 10 in 11th place. Kageyama's gone out. Oh, Yukio, no. After the day that you've had, and after the start that you had last year, will he be able to rejoin the race?
Yes,
that's
Foray again.
Fabian Foray's, he's sulking so deeply, he won't even let us see his face. So that's what's Yukio done. He's just run himself off track. What sort of damage is done to a bike when you hit the gravel like that and grind through it? Can he rejoin?
Most likely, but I keep going. The worst thing is, he's normally picked a load of gravel up by spinning the wheel to get it out, which you've got to do. You've got to spin the wheel to get it out of the gravel.
Look at that new lap record, 20.061. He's almost come within a whisker of thrashing the 2-minute time.
If you keep cutting in when I'm talking, I'm going to slap you in a minute. You've done it twice now. You're starting to hurt my feelings, Jack.
Sorry, James, please.
No, I'm saying the gravel will have picked up into the fairing and it gets dumped on the track as they get going again. Apart from that, no damage at all, I would have said.
Now, James Toulton is moving up towards the back of Andrew Pitt here. He's got right up behind the 2001 World Supersport champ. And he looks as if he'd be pretty keen to make a move. The course of Bayliss confrontation carries on, and then Carl Mugridge now beginning to feel some pressure from Lanzi, and then Killy, Rolfo, and the 2 Kawasaki's nailed together. Howling past down the 1 kilometre long main straight here. James Toulton not quite with the gas to get on terms. We're looking back up the field for Barras. It was in 15th place at the end of the last lap. I think he might have picked up a place as they go past us now. Yes, he's gone to 13th. He's passed Marco Bocciani and Norik Abe.
And this is perfect for Toulton if he can just keep the 2 yams in his sights, particularly Aga. We know how quick he can go. He came from 10th in the first race, and that would have been using a lot more of his tyres than he will have to do here if he can just stay with them and just conserve them a little bit.
Toulton looking good. Number 52, that familiar number back again. Meanwhile, the number 1, remember Troy Corso always religiously loves his number 11. That's what he's won both his world titles wearing. But of course, the fact that he's gone to the number 1 plate means that the returning Ruben Zaus can go back to his favoured number 11. Remember, at the end, you tend to forget, at the end of the 2001 season, Zaus set the World Superbike scene absolutely alight with a series of impressive performances. And he emerged, he won a couple of races at the end of that year.
And in fact, if Hodgson hadn't have got them as many wins as he did at the beginning when he dominated the series, he would have got I think Zaus could have almost beaten him if he'd have got a better start to the season.
Yeah, that was it 2 years later in 2003. Yeah. It was in 2001 he first won at Oschersleben in Imola.
Yeah, that's right,
you began to realise how fast he was. Look how fast this kid is. Fabrizio, the 21-year-old Italian, has split the 2 Kawasaki's now and is hounding Chris Walker. So let's hope they've got they've sorted out the electronics that govern the fuel pump on the Kawasaki, because Stalker there at the moment in 10th place.
Probably just a broken wire, Jack.
At the front, Nori Haga, and interestingly, I'm just trying to find out where. Well, Kageyama in 28th place.
Yes, he's obviously rejoined.
And already we've lost Regis Laconi. Laconi has crashed the PSG1 course Kawasaki. So Regis Laconi sadly goes out.
Bad day for him.
So he's only had 2 points from the opening round. Quite amazing how quickly a career can turn turtle when you go from being a factory rider to a guy who's well, struggling a bit on a different bike.
Both the FP1 still running. Martin down in 20th and Jones in just a place or 2 places behind him, 22nd.
I'm not sure what's happening with Steve Martin. He was so impressive throughout qualifying, and he's struggling right away in the races.
The problem is, it still isn't a quick bike, so when you're on your own doing 1 lap, it's possibly easier than racing with people with quicker bikes, passing you on the straights and holding you up where you should be quicker in the corners.
Yeah. I've taken my eye off the ball, and Troy Corser has gone through into third place, and leaving Tosland battling suddenly with Troy Bayliss.
Looks to me like Tosland just might have made a mistake there, because he's lost time and Corser's gained time.
You're right about the Freddie Spencer look-alike helmet.
Yeah.
And I think Corser is really on the pace here. He's trying to ride right round Andrew Pitt. Pitt just edges across to make sure that his fellow Aussie can't make it.
One thing about Corser, he's never likely to make a rash move that's got any risk involved with it at all.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if it takes 3 or 4 laps, he will take 3 or 4 laps, which is why he's done 25 point-scoring races consecutively.
Yes. Mugger's just dropping a little off the back of this bunch. The fastest man by the way, on track on the last lap was Andrew Pitt with a 2 minutes 0.3. And the second fastest was Frankie Kelly with a 2 minutes 0.9 in 8th place.
And Barros now right up behind Stalker.
When Barros has got past Michel Fabrizio, he's come from 15th place.
Oh, I do like the colour of Barros's bike. In national Brazilian colours.
Troy Corser now splits the Yamaha Italia R1, so he's going to hunt down Nori Haga. But look at the way that bike of Pitt's holds its line.
No, he just, Corser ran wide going in to get past him and then just managed to hold the line on the corner.
Climbing up the hill through turn 3.
And this is Andrew Pitt, who nearly didn't have a job with Yamaha Motor Italy.
They took a long time to decide they were going to...
long time to offer him a job. He held on for him.
They took a long time to decide to retain him, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think he feels like he's got something to prove.
I think he does.
Haga gathers so much speed and momentum coming out at all, but he went late into turn 6, the hairpin there, and that's left him with a bit of work to do. And suddenly Corser is right there,
yeah,
bike length back.
Good. I wonder if Corser's gone for a different tyre than what he just looks a different rider in this race.
He does, yes. Now he said that that softer front tyre that he used in Superpole, he wasn't convinced it was going to last a race. I just wonder. He said the harder one was lacking feel at the front. Perhaps he said, right, that's it, we're going to go for the softer one and see how we go on.
So we got to watch what happens, because they were all complaining about the front tyres towards the end. When you listen to Bailey's after the race, Bailey said that the front tyres were all finished by the end.
So I think that's possible, and certainly he's going fast early, which he was struggling to do before.
I think he's just taking the lead.
No. Not quite. So Nori Haga, as usual, tail whipping his way around in a frenzy of sight and sound. We're missing Yukio Kageyama, of course, from this terrific scrap. He was very much a feature last time. Just checking out where Kageyama's got to. He's up to 24th place, so he's made 4 places, but he's behind Battiani, he's behind Clementi, he's behind Craig Jones and Steve Martin, who are 20th and 21st. That's a good ride by Jones. Staying in touch with the Australian. There goes Troy Corser, whipping his way past Nori Haga, and the Aussie, who remember won the opening race right here 12 months ago, takes the lead in race 2.
Yeah, he just looks a different rider. He's a lot more confident this race.
James Tosland is still being given a fairly unrelenting time by Bayliss. Bayliss must be aware of the fact that there's just a little gap has opened up in front of James.
Oh, he'll be aware of it. Saying that, Haga's not one to give up. I wouldn't have thought he's going to let Corser go without a fight.
No, I would say that he's going to stick very firmly to him, like glue, as they say. It's wonderful to hear the really metallic hammering thrash of that Ducati in amongst the screaming 4 cylinders. Yeah. Well, that was a neat move of Troy Corser's. He came out of the slipstream late, but he spent no time at all alongside him. Just, whoop, thank you very much, and in front.
And he does look to be able to hold a tighter line than Haga.
Which in itself is unusual. I mean, Haga's notoriously the gifted tight line man.
Oh, that's one of the FP1s. Jonesy again.
Oh, he's giving him some work to do with his bike. Mind you, he got punted off in the first one. Here he is, he's following his teammate. Oh, front end down.
He's got to be sore. He spent more time on his backside than he has on the bike this weekend.
Oh dear me. Craig Jones, runner-up in the British Supersport Series, of course, last year for the North Point Honda team. but he was really champing at the bit to get onto the world stage.
Yeah, Fogarty's job's been just calming him down. He says, we don't expect anything from you, and it seems like he's got himself excited.
And he's, of course, he was top 6 at Brno in that wild card ride last year.
Jones is he's a good rider, just needs a little bit of experience at this level.
This is Muggeridge versus Lanzi versus Killy. This is Barros. Alex Barros from Sao Paulo, 7 times a Grand Prix winner. And he's ahead of Michel Fabrizio, so he's showing the young Roman a thing or two. Barros, of course, at the end of 2002, he'd been running the two-stroke Honda for the first 12 rounds of the Motorcycle Grand Prix World Championship, and then they gave him the 4-stroke for the last 4 rounds, and he and Rossi went at it tooth and nail, and ended up at 2 each, and Barros beat him twice, fair and square. So a man of huge talent.
And all them years at MotoGP, I would suggest huge bank balance as well.
He won at Twin Rin, Motegi and Valencia. So he'll be certainly looking forward to round 3 of the championship, which of course will be coming to you full on Eurosport. Right through the season we'll be bringing you this blistering action from World Superbikes.
Yeah, this just hasn't materialised into the Bayliss benefit that we all thought was going to happen. Brilliantly.
You just
never know, do you?
Don't know what's going to happen.
Never know with a race.
When you get to racing. Troy Corsi, is lapping at lap record pace, 2 minutes 0.7 seconds.
And consistently as well.
Yeah. So Corsa, Haga still right there behind him. Pitt as well, sustaining that momentum. The Santander Consumer Bank R1s, and Tolan has closed right up now, pushed on perhaps by Troy Bayliss, and then a gap behind to that three-way battle between Muggeridge, Lanzi and Killy, and they've got an advantage of about 2.5 seconds over Alex Barros. Crowd on their feet as the bikes howl past down this 1 kilometre straight, over 300 kilometres per hour for Corsa. We're going to take a quick break. Please, whatever you do, don't go far. Welcome back to Losail, Doha, Qatar, on this Principality. 842,000 people live here, 95% of them Muslims, and the languages, of course, Arabic and English. And we're here for the 2nd time with World Superbikes. We're on our 9th lap out of 18. And Troy Corsa, reigning world champion for our Astara Corona Suzuki, is leading the man who so unluckily torpedoed his Corsa's teammate out of contention and himself on the final lap of race 1 when they were going for the win, Nori Haga.
Well, and Haga's managed to just up his game a little bit and get on the pace of Corsa now.
He's just he's a little bulldog, isn't he, Nori?
You wouldn't want him behind you, would you?
You mean even more so now than you think before the first race? You've got no choice really when he stays there unless you can just clear off. So we're down the straight again. Look, Nitro Nori right behind the Suzuki comes alongside. Now that's interesting. I think the Suzuki might carry the speed, and it does. Now where the Suzuki can slipstream the Yamaha and flick past, the Yamaha can't do the reverse.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, these guys, the Yamaha Italia guys are on the same bike. This is the first time that Nori Haga's remained on the same bike for several seasons.
Yeah.
A long time. Troy Corsa, of course, in his 2nd season with that bike. Troy Bayliss kind of returning to a bike that he felt instantly comfortable with and had no complaints with at all. The only one amongst the 5 who's stepped onto a completely new machine is Toseland.
Yeah.
And he's kept reminding us of that in his best Tony Blair fashion. But in fact, it really is blistering to see him pull it out like this.
It is, yeah, it is. All credit to him.
You can see a bit of black track beyond, because that's back to Lanzi leading Muggeridge, leading Killy. They are tied together. Barros is closing the gap on them. He's down to 1.1 seconds back in 9th place. Fabrizio 4/10 further back in 10th, and then Rolfo Arbe Stalker's down to 15th. Well, he said that bike became a bit of a handful after 5 laps, but that's a long way to have dropped behind Arbe, Nieto and Borciani even.
He didn't actually say that, Jack, as well, but he did mean that.
That's right. I could invite you to say what he was.
I'm not going to say it now.
We'd better not say it on air.
It was funny, but we would get sacked.
At the front then, we still have number 1 Corsa, 41 Haga, 88 Pitt, 52 Toseland, 21 Troy Bayliss. And that manic roar of that Ducati, I love the sound of it in amongst the four-cylinder bikes. Troy Bayliss did say midway through testing during the winter that he did feel that the V-twin 1000cc Ducati was really at its optimum peak of development, and there wasn't a lot further to go with it.
I would say that's a fact, but also there's certain rule differences. Although they're all allowed to be the same cc and the same weight now, which never was the case. The twins always had a cc advantage and usually a weight advantage, although the rules have changed over the years. Now the same weight and cc is applicable to both the fours and the twins, but what there is slight differences is internally you can change more parts from the standard homologated parts with the twin than you can with the fours.
Right.
And however the rules are worked out, this particular season it does seem to be working out perfectly to me, because this is what should have. This is why the rules have to be different to make racing like this.
And Bayliss, he mentioned after the first race, Troy, that he couldn't really find a rhythm. He felt that was the case with everyone around him as well, because there was so much fisticuffs going on.
Yeah.
And he looks like a guy who would be going quicker on his own if he had that bit of clear track.
Did you see that? How cool was that? Midway, cranked right over in a corner with the throttle open. He's pulled the tail off with his other hand.
I couldn't believe I was seeing that.
Look, Mum, one hand.
Wow, and he almost fetched up underneath Toseland then. Toes just ignites the rear tyre.
I'll tell you what though, Jack, there's no way Toseland will be intimidated. We know how much he rises to a challenge. We saw it at the end of the season when he won the championship a couple of years ago. He will have a go back.
Yeah.
And the more you poke him, the more dangerous he gets. You know what I mean?
Have you ever been a sheep farmer or a pig farmer?
I've farmed the odd sheep. Possibly in a previous life.
Poke him with a stick. Frankie!
And he's made a big mess of that.
Oh dear,
There's
Frankie.
A lot of gravel about.
Frankie Killy's had a big one.
And a lot of gravel on the track as well.
He's come off. He's well scuffed up, looking as if he's come through the gravel.
And nearly back onto the track.
Yeah. Oh, Frankie Killy once again proving that he's capable of having a mega one. Even though he's now, of course, 9 laps into race 1, become the longest travelled competitor in World Superbikes. He actually surpassed the number of miles raced by Aaron Slight.
Of course, he's sneaking away here.
He is. Suddenly, almost without, you use the word sneaking, he's just suddenly eased out 0.8 of a second advantage.
He's
teased it out. He did have a good lap. He lapped 0.7 of a second quicker than
he did.
Harger suddenly didn't seem to sit on the same pace.
Exactly, but what Corsa's doing is exactly what he did last year. He's just able to put the time in, just consistently, lap after lap. Not a blistering lap record pace, but not far away from it, and the same lap every single time.
Michel Fabrizio's got back in front of Alex Barros. That's impressive. Robbie Rolfo 10th, Arbe 11th, Zaus amazingly is 12th on the sterile Garda.
And that's Toseland just relegated now to 5th by Bayliss. He's been looking to do that for 3 laps.
He has.
He really did look frustrated behind Toseland.
That gravel. And Kageyama is out of the race. That's been a desperate start to the year for the lovely Yukio. He's now no-scored in the first 2 races. That gravel looks pretty tricky. They need to get that off the circuit.
Yeah, they could do with sweeping out, but would you go with a brush onto the circuit?
No.
There you go.
Not while this is going on. I'm just interested to see what Bayliss can achieve now. He's got past Toseland, who seemed to be exasperating him. Now, what can he do with the Yamahas?
He needs to get in about him if he's going to do anything about the leader, Corsa.
Yeah.
Only 6 laps left at the end of this one.
Good heavens, are we that far through the race?
You have been that long, we forgot, haven't we?
So, 3 red bikes together now in 2nd, 3rd and 4th places. And that's Norrie Harger, Andrew Pitt and Xerox Ducati's Troy Bayliss. James Toseland, first race winner, pushed back to 5th place. Has he got anything in the tank there to come back at them with as they cross the line? Corsa, what a terrific ride by him. He's suddenly turned up the wick. He's looking distinctly more comfortable and confident, and he did it at 2:0.8.
Within 100th of a second of what he did last time.
Yeah. So it's not only that sweetness and consistency, it's the blistering pace that goes with it that has set Corsa on his way to potential victory here. Remember, he had to be content with 4th place, and that a fortunate 4th place in race 1. It should really have been 6th.
And Bayliss is starting to have a bit of a nip at Pitt now. and he needs to do. He really does need to do.
He knows that he got the better of Andrew in race 1 late on. So
he goes in really wide to that hairpin there and then cuts it back right on the exit to get a good run out the corner.
Troy Corser was, what he was complaining about yesterday, complaining perhaps isn't the right word, but pointing out was that after the rain on Thursday, that he couldn't find his own lines round here. He'd got novel lines he enjoyed taking round this track during testing.
Yeah.
But everything had narrowed down to one really usable line that everybody was using here after the bad weather.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him though, absolutely nailing it through turn 11.
Yeah, well, and actually where Killy crashed was, he must have crashed on 9, and the bike went across the track at 10, because that's where the gravel is.
Oh, and that is fast.
Yeah.
And no wonder he was looking a bit second-hand, bless him.
Yeah.
Well, grazie, Romana, and I'm sorry, your old man's done it again.
She's going to have a work cut out with Romana nursing the new baby and the husband. And
yeah,
that is Bayliss through. He's run wide.
And that we were saying during the commercial break that what was slightly disappointing about Pitty was that he didn't often pass.
He tends to
get good starts, settle, and finally get overtaken. So it's good to see that aggressive move back when he saw the chance. 5 laps to go then. Troy Corser leads. Second is Norrie Haga. Third, Andrew Pitt. 4th, Troy Bayliss. 5th, James Toseland.
One thing you do notice now is that the factory Xerox Ducati is unable to get even level with the other bikes down the straight. It doesn't look the quickest bike out there now.
And you're so used to it being that.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It looks like he's having to ride hard with it.
Oh, is he riding hard or what? And this is Alex Barros right with Fabrizio and Muggeridge. So an all Honda battle going on here. Mugger's on his number 2 bike, so he's not going to be feeling entirely comfortable. Right behind him, Fabrizio. And then Alex Barros in the Brazilian colours. Troy Corser in the lead. This man, number 57, Lorenzo Lanzi, just ahead of that all Honda scrap in 6th place. Well, if you're going to learn something from somebody, you might as well learn a bit from Alex Barros. Good heavens, he made his debut famously underage in 1986, by the way.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
As an 80cc Grand Prix rider.
I remember.
And it was 4 years later he went into Motorcycle Grand Prix and has remained there ever since.
Yeah.
Not like a new challenge. And I think, has Bayliss snook, while the cameraman's been elsewhere,
he has.
Craig Bayliss has gone through into 2nd place.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I wish we'd seen how he did that. Why on earth weren't we there? So Troy Bayliss, the 2 Troys are now 1 and 2. And Norrie Haga has been pushed back to 3rd place, and Bayliss, well, it looked like he was on the prowl, because our last glimpse of him, he was on the absolute brink of it going over the crest of a hill.
And although he was maybe being a bit optimistic in his post-race interview, saying that he could have maybe got the win from 4th because he was coming good, I think that was optimistic. But we'll see now. He's got 4 laps left to catch Corser, and he does seem to be able to go quicker at the end.
And he's just done a 2-minute 0.23, half a second quicker than Troy Corser on that lap, and suddenly Bayliss is wound up and firing on both big cylinders. He's got the better of the Yamaha Italia R1s.
And in fact, his fastest lap in the last race was his penultimate lap.
It was.
So he is able to maintain the pace to the end.
So this is a phenomenal ride then, and it's his fastest lap of the race this time around, 2-minute 0.238, and it's way quicker than any of the guys around him. Toseland would dearly love to get on terms with those 2 Italian Yamahas ahead of him, but he's going to have to work hard to do that.
Yeah, Corser in front of Bayliss is like waving a sausage at a Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Well, the sausage just might be getting gobbled up here. It'll be fascinating to see what the times are at the end of the next lap. But just when we thought Corser had it wound up, daylight there as he came out of the bend underneath the front wheel of the Alstara Corona Suzuki, and Francis Patter is going to be gagging on his pies again in the garage. Lanzi still 6th, Muggers 7th, Fabrizio 8th, Barros 9th. Oh, separated by 800ths of a second, incidentally. Norik Arbe and Ruben Zaus challenging Arbe. Zaus in 11th place. What a heroic ride, challenging Norik Arbe for 10th. And they've got the better of Robbie Rolfo. And Stalker is behind Jim Bear and has slipped out of the points into 16th place. Oh, look at this. Troy bearing down on Troy. Oh, which man's who's going to be the Trojan horse here at the end?
Well, who's your money on then, Jack? Come on.
Right now, my money's on Bayliss.
Mine as well.
I just think he's carving a few arcs around this track, and he's got a bit of ground in front of him. He can see what he's doing. He can go where he wants, and he's looking hairy, but he's going fast. He crosses the line now, and if we check out the times, that could even be quicker than the last lap. No, it wasn't quite, but it was almost exactly the same. 2 minutes 0.257, and here comes Toseland now, attacking Andrew Pitt. Oh, another great race then, and a great climax building up. Troy Bayliss that time was 0.7 of a second quicker than Corser. You can see the gap shrinking. And Toseland was 0.4 of a second quicker than Pitt.
Yeah, and
so battles on for the rostrum in the lead.
So 0.4 quicker than Hager as well, Jack. And Toseland definitely hasn't given up on a second rostrum here.
Come on, JT. Be brave. Oh, look at Bayliss. He's never anything else but brave.
Oh, look how he drops it in really late, then cuts it right back to a really late apex. That'll give him a good slingshot up the next straight.
And it really drives him on into that gap, narrowing it down all the time. We're on the 16th out of 18 laps. 2 to go in this terrific race at the end of this lap. Troy Corser, 2005 world champion, 1996 world champion. Oh! And he goes wrong.
Almost ran in the back of him then. That was close.
So you can't say there was nothing wrong with the way the V-twin picked up drive then. Troy Corser and the Suzuki, they seem to have it all their own way in the first half of last season, and certainly seem to have the edge on the Ducatis, but not a Ducati with Troy Bayliss on board. Oh, what a ride. So Bayliss, once again proving he's getting faster as the race goes on.
Matter of time now, I think.
But he can ride things so close to the limit, this guy.
Without just overstepping that mark. And it's not a quick bike. The Suzuki's faster than the Ducati there. He's not able to get anywhere near him on the actual straight, but in the corners, he's a lot faster now.
Now we come down the straight. What's going to happen as they go fleeing past us? Corser at the front, Bayliss second.
Nothing.
Howls from the crowd.
He can't do anything with him down the straight. He's going to have to pass him on a corner. Not only that, Jack, he's going to have to get enough in front before the last straight. Look how much quicker in the corners he is.
And Corser certainly has the horsepower advantage when they hit the straight. So it's going to be a very, very difficult one.
If they come out of that corner, the last corner, onto the straight, on the last lap at the same speed, Corser will pass him.
That's the moment when they're both absolutely pinned. Whoa, he gets up the inside, gets alongside him. Has Corser got the stomach for the fight? He has. He dives back across the front of him as if to say, sorry, mate, no way.
But that's what we saw last year a couple of times. We thought Corser, with the lead in the championship, wouldn't battle for race wins, and he did. He battled every time.
Big time. Oh, braking hard. Oh, look how smooth these two guys are. That's where Nori Haga took out Kagayama on the last lap of race 1, and Corser wants this race win. Bayliss wants this race win. And this the Corona Extra World Superbike Championship of 2006, and the Alstara Corona Suzuki, the defending world champion number 1. The Xerox Ducati of the ex-world champion number 21.
One of the problems is this track that you can see there's just nowhere to pass, even though Bayliss does look to have the drop on him in the corners now on the better tyres, or more tyre left. He just can't get anywhere to pass. And his bike's not quick enough to do it on the real only place to pass at the end of the straight. It's just not quick enough to get him level.
He's going to have to produce something pretty special.
He is.
And Corser, unless, of course, he can pressure Corser into a mistake. It's not the sort of thing that Troy does. Oh, and absolutely elbow to elbow. But Corser just levers him out and leaves him no place to go. Corser's riding. Look at the way he's altering his lines. So he's going as fast as that, but still riding defensively. This is on. The battle on. Down onto the main straight, Troy Corser, Troy Bayliss, 1 lap to go. Who's going to turn out to be the race winner here? Race 2 at Qatar. And James Toseland goes through into 4th place. Toes hits 4th place, and Bayliss can't do anything about Troy Corser at the end of the straight. So Toseland 4th. He's got Hager in front of him for another podium finish, the first race winner.
I just don't think Bayliss' bike's quick enough. I don't think the Ducati's got the legs enough on the Suzuki to do it.
He's going to have to ride right round him or nudge underneath like this. He tries to get through, but that Suzuki is so quick out of the turns. And look at the way he's wringing the neck of the Ducati. We're on the 18th of 18 superb laps here at the Losail International Racing. Here comes Bayliss. Oh, and Corsa just cuts across the front of him. Bayliss once again goes deep into turn 6. And then look at the two of them, air underneath both front wheels, but the Suzuki superior power just breezes in that vital bike length in front.
This is cracking, this.
I wonder how clear are these guys thinking right now? Crystal. Oh, he's got underneath him.
He's run wide.
Oh, he's run wide. Corsa comes straight back underneath. They touch one another side by side. Bayliss knows it's now or never through turn 11. Up towards turn 12. The sequence of right-handers. And Corsa has simply wrenched the advantage back. Oh. The two of them absolutely on the limit. Two of Australia's great road racers on the limit now. The Troys, Bayliss and Corsa. Corsa has the advantage. Bayliss tries to tuck underneath. He gets there. Oh, what a pass. Where did he get that from? But he's gone wide. He's even hit the grass. There's no grip there. Corsa's got it back. And Toseland is right on the back wheel of Noriyuki Haga for third place.
He's going to do it.
And as they come in, oh, for goodness sake, what is going on? We come onto the final straight away.
Toseland's got it.
And it looks like Troy Corsa's got the win. Second place. Second place goes to Bayliss. Third place to... Toseland got it by about half a wheel. I'm sure Toseland got there across ahead. No, Haga did it. It was Haga who had the thickness of a 1/1,000,000th of a second. Haga gapped that third place by 1,000th of a second from James Toseland. So much so we thought by the naked eye that he'd actually done it, but Troy Corsa snatches an astonishing victory. We both called it wrong. We both said Bayliss was going to get it 3 laps from the end. He didn't. But how close was it? Haga and Toseland, look at that. James would have been leading the World Championship had he got that 1,000th of a second the other way around.
Yep.
Worth bearing in mind. Muggers on his spare bike gets 9th ahead of the every month, but it certainly isn't now. Bayliss, Corsa, Toseland, Andrew Pitt in there on 27 consistent points. Fabrizio and Barros on 19 apiece. And that's the young stud and the old hand. And Nori Haga thankfully getting 16 deserved points on the board after losing out on a potential win in race 1. Muggeridge gets off despite his problems to a better start than he did last year. Lanzian Arbe, it's amazing. Norik Arbe has just quietly gone about his business after a really terrible time in practice, and